Good morning, Stewart's Chapel. Brother Don here, and Don Counts, and we're at the Harrises, and this is Thursday. It's a long section of Scripture, not trying to rush through Joe. It's just that this is a one piece that God intended. And so we're in Joel chapter 2, verses 1 through 11. Blow the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. For the day of the Lord is coming. That's what I want to call your attention today as we look at this day of the Lord is coming. For it is at hand, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, like the morning clouds spread over the mountains. A people come, great and strong, the like of whom has never been, nor will there ever be any such after them, even for many successive generations. A fire devours before them, and behind them a flame burns. The land is like the Garden of Eden before them, but behind them a desolate wilderness. The Lord will play on that phrase, before them and after them. Again, surely nothing shall escape them. Their appearance is like the appearance of horses, and like swift steeds, so they run. With a noise like chariots, over mountaintops they leap, like the noise of a flaming fire that devours the stubble, like a strong people set in battle array. Before them the people wither in pain. All faces are drained of color. They run like mighty men. They climb the wall like men of war. Everyone marches in formation, and they do not break ranks. They do not push one another. Everyone marches in his own column. Though they lunge between the weapons, they are not cut down. They run to and fro in the city. They run on the wall. They climb into the houses. They enter at the windows like a thief. The earth quakes before them. The heavens tremble. The sun and moon grow dark, and the stars diminish their brightness. The Lord gives voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For strong is the one who executes his sword, God's sword. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible. Who can endure it? A long section of Scripture, and I just want to take the time because it's long, I've made several points, and I just want to call your attention to some things that you may want to look at. The idea of, in the English anyway, I'm not sure what it is in Hebrew, but in English, there's, as you've noticed over these last few series, there's a lot of D words, a lot of words that start with D in Joel. So when it talks about the day of the Lord uses a lot of D words to describe it. It's a dark day. The day of the Lord is coming. It's a dark day. It's a devouring day, and it's a destroying day. It's a destructive day. Now, normally when we think of the day of the Lord, some people are thinking about Sunday or some other thing, or some may even think of the rapture. The day of the Lord, according to Joel, is a dark day, a devouring day, and a destructive day. The other thing is, it's his day. It bears his name. It's not the day of Satan. It's not the day of his demons. It's not the day of man. It's God's day. It's the Lord's day. It belongs to him. And that comes out over and over again, especially in verse 11. This army that has come is his army. He says that in verse 11. It's his army. They are going about by his command. And then throughout this section of Scripture, he uses the word nothing a lot. Verse 3, nothing shall escape them. Verse 5, nothing shall stop them. Verse 8, nothing shall harm them. Verse 9, nothing shall protect you. Now the them is his army. And then the last one in verse 9 is us, or the people that he's coming against. Nothing shall escape his army, Nothing shall stop his army. Nothing shall harm his army. But nothing can protect those he sent his army against. Now, which side of the Lord's day do you think I want to be on? Which side do you want to be on? Well, if I had a choice, I want to definitely be part of his and his army. I don't want to be the one that his army is coming against. Now, you understand that the book of Joel is to God's people. It's to God's people. And in this particular case, God's using people that are bowing to other gods to be his instrument. But in the New Testament, where you and I have to be real careful about whose armor I put on. I can't fight in my own. I must fight in his armor. I have to make sure that I'm fighting with and not for. Fighting with God. I can't fight for God. God doesn't need me to fight for him. He's more than able. In fact, the whole idea of me saying I'm fighting for God is pretty arrogant. In fact, it makes God pretty small. I'm to be fighting with God. Hebrews 11 makes it very clear, and Hebrews 12 makes it very clear, more so than Hebrews 11 actually. Hebrews 12 makes it very clear that as a child of God, I can experience God's hand in a way of discipline. And that can be very severe. There's a lot in the book of Joel, and I encourage you to read chapter 2. I would encourage you to take a good look and ask the question, what's the day of the Lord? Well, what would it look like for you? Would it be the Lord coming against you, or would you be coming with the Lord? Love you, Stewart's Chapel.